He's alive!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Paul Workman. I am the man of constant hatred. Welcome back to Just Born Movies, the show where we take films straight out of the Hollywood womb and we dissect them for you. Our guest this week is David Wray.
How's it going, everybody?
David, what did we see this week?
Saw Rampage.
Rampage is a story about a giant gorilla that attacks a city with the help of a giant wolf with hands.
And don't forget the giant crocodile.
And don't forget the giant crocodile.
Of course, the wolf flies.
Stop me, oh, somebody stop me, please, somebody stop me, oh, somebody stop me.
All right, how do we like this movie?
I mean, it's giant monsters destroying a city with The Rock throwing quippy one-liners. I mean, what's not to love?
I mean, essentially, yeah, that's it. That's the whole gist of this movie. The Rock is playing a primatologist at San Diego Wildlife Reserve, and he is raising an albino gorilla named George, of course, because he's George in the game. Yeah, so this is based off the old video game Rampage, which of course is a gorilla, a wolf, and a giant lizard attacking a city, and that's essentially what you get.
Yep.
You get a little bit of plot line. Malin Ackerman and I forget the dude's name that's with her, who plays her brother.
I mean, he was a throwaway.
Yeah, he pretty much
the character was worthless.
Are a couple of siblings running this energy company, and they've created this genetic mutation serum that makes these three animals just go out of control after these canisters of the serum have fallen from space from an exploding space station, and they hit the ground near these animals. They all inhale these toxins, and suddenly they're monstrous size, and they're headed towards Chicago to punch buildings
And climb buildings and, throw tanks.
Throw tanks into helicopters. All the things you want from a film about a giant gorilla, a giant wolf, and a giant lizard, alligator, whatever.
I think it was a crocodile.
Crocodile. This has a pretty, I know, outlandish but basic premise.
I think it was one of the first video game movies I've truly enjoyed in a while.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I had this much fun in a theater watching a video game movie, because they're usually just dreadfully slow or dreadfully over-explainy.
Yeah, a lot of exposition. We saw it with Tomb Raider. It's so slow-paced, because we have to establish the characters. Here it was like, characters were established like 10 minutes in, and from there it was just a roller coaster ride of things getting destroyed, and the army being the army and doing stupid things.
A lot of the one-liners are kind of bad.
They're so bad, they're good, though.
Some of them,
yes. That's the way they're perfectly timed and delivered, and they're like, that's a groaner, but I'm going to laugh because everyone else is laughing.
There was one that one that sticks out in my mind, because there's a couple of them that The Rock delivers that I thought was just bad, like just flat bad. He says something about like, oh, I saved George from these poachers, and she's like, well, what happened after you saved him? He's like, well, they shot at me, they missed. I shot back at them, I didn't miss. Oh.
Yeah, I think you get some vomit in the back of your mouth just repeating that.
Just a little, like. But for the most part, he does get in some good ones. He is a lot of fun.
You know who else was a lot of fun though? Was Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan is absolutely the MVP of this movie.
Yes.
He's playing this government agent. They specifically make a point to let you know that they're not going to tell you what agency he's with.
Yeah, he's OGA. OGA.
Who do you work for? Well, sir, I work for the American people.
Homeland CIA.
I'm OGA. Heard that for other government agency, huh? It's clever. Yes, sir, it is clever.
He shows up to help take George down when George goes on his first rampage.
Roll credits.
There you go. And then he just keeps like randomly showing up. Like he's about to show up most of the time, but it's just he just kind of steps onto screen, or he gets a line from off screen, and then suddenly like the camera pans to him and he's there, and he's playing this like good old country boy. They keep calling him a cowboy, and at one point they just start referring to him as an asshole. Like he just shows up on screen, gun out in front with his jacket tucked into the gun. Oh, he's so much fun.
He is. He every line he delivers was great. I mean, he's talking to an army officer and he's calling him sir, but you get the impression that he doesn't really mean it.
This army officer like kicks him out of this area where they're this command center, and he's like, that's the first order you've given that I think we both can agree on.
Like, again, bad lines, but he delivered it so well.
He's just so smarmy, and he's so fun. And then...
I mean, him and giant monsters punching buildings are the only two reasons that I can say, without a doubt, go see this movie for.
I really do enjoy Naomi Harris in this film. I tend to enjoy Naomi Harris a lot ever since 28 Days Later. She's put in great performances, even in really crappy films, like whatever Pirates film she was in. It doesn't matter. They're all the same film.
Yeah, I mean, they made more than one. I thought that it was the same one. They just kept tacking on more minutes.
For the most part, the CGI looks fine. I think the creature designs especially were really good. Yeah,
the wolf was a little but the croc and I think George, they with what they used and their modeling, I thought it was spot on.
Yeah, George especially looked wonderful. Yeah. Especially in the beginning, before he starts growing. You would probably mistake him for a real gorilla in parts. It's kind of towards the end when the city's like in complete shambles and it's dusty that it starts looking real cartoony. Which...
Well, we kind of expect that at that point. I mean, at a certain point, a computer can only do so much.
Yeah, and at which point, it's the same thing with San Andreas, the film that Brad Payton, I like to say his name is. The Rock and this director did San Andreas together, and a lot of the destruction in that film also looks real flat and kind of ugly, not in a real good way. So if there's one big drawback, it's that a lot of the especially the post destruction looks bad.
Yeah, and even the actual destruction as it's happening looked a little weak. But
yeah.
The monster models were spot on. I mean, that one scene that we were talking about where you've got George behind the Rock that I was talking about, like they made sure to even have, you can see the wind and it's blowing stuff against the Rock, and they made sure that the CGI model's hair is moving so you can see it. So
and then I really liked Dwayne Johnson and George's interaction.
Oh yeah,
they talk through sign language, and some of the things they get up to are absolutely hilarious in all the best ways. Like it's good intentional comedy as opposed to some of the unintentional comedy that happens through some of this film.
I mean, music was just kind of there. It beats elevator music, but it doesn't. It's not a award-winning soundtrack.
I don't even remember who did the music for it, but
yeah. And I mean, besides The Rock, Naomi, Jeffrey Dean, and I would say the sister. Can't think of the actress's name. It's drawing a blank, but every other character.
Is Malin Ackerman, who played Silk Spectre 2 in
Watchmen,
yeah.
Jeffrey Dean.
Yeah, exactly. And Carla Gugino, who played Silk Spectre 1, was in San Andreas, so he's just making his way through the Watchmen
and
right now.
And Joe, whose name I always butcher, was in it, of course.
Manganiello.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in it, but honestly, he's in it so little that he makes no difference to the plot.
Yeah, he's in it as long as Steven Seagal was in an executive decision.
And I don't know the actor's name, but I like the guy who's playing the Rock's second banana in San Diego.
Yeah.
I wish he would have stayed throughout the entire film.
Yeah, I kind of wanted him and the two interns to kind of be around a little bit longer.
Yeah, especially the intern that, if you've seen the trailer, I'll play the clip right now.
Don't move a muscle.
Are you crazy? No! Don't move!
Okay. Oh, very funny. It's very funny. We're all very impressed. Yes, yes. You and I laughing at your joke, okay? New guy, he no laugh. He cry. Yeah. Yeah, opposite of laugh. Connor, you can get up now.
Are you 100% on that?
100%.
And check your diaper. Come on. Let's go.
The intern that George scares, and they kind of shit on him throughout the entirety of his run in the movie.
Yeah. That is a recurring theme.
We get some behind-the-camera trivia.
Okay.
So the original games take place in the console release is 1986, produced by Bally Midway, which is the reason that they're all going to Chicago, is a nod to Midway Airport, which
there
is in Chicago.
you go. Yep. Monsters of the Midway, the old 1980s Bears defense.
Yeah, another little piece of trivia is early in the movie we get a shot of the offices of the brother and sister, and there's a Rampage console whole box there in the office.
Just a cabinet sitting in the office. It was I kind of marked out when I saw it. It was pretty wonderful.
Yeah.
Lizzie does not get a name, who is the crocodile.
That's
the
correct.
Lizard.
Yep.
And the mutated rat at the beginning is because there was a unofficial ColecoVision version that had a rat in it as one of the characters that you played as.
And then the brother carries around a rat through the rest of the movie.
Yep.
Kind of out there, pretty basic story. Decent performances. There's a lot of fun to be had in the film. The script is a little wonky. The CGI is also that. It is a fun film. I don't want any negative criticism of it to deter anybody from seeing it if you're interested, because it's a big dumb film that if you just want to see some monsters punch buildings and throw tanks, you can get that. It's wonderful for that. Sometimes you just need this kind of escapism because there's no real underlying theme. Maybe treat animals better. There's no real message to take away from it. It's just, hey, here's some monsters, they're going to punch some buildings. And that can be fun sometimes. But at the same time, if we're gonna try to put this on the strictest criticism possible, and we're gonna put it through the same rigorous, whatever as everything else, it's still at its heart a really stupid film. But it's a fun, stupid film. For that, based on our scale, I'm going to give it a damn average.
Everything you just said, plus, I think the actors and actresses, they just were spot on with what they had to work with. I do think Jeffrey Dean Morgan stole the entire movie. Of course, I kept staring at him as John Winchester, so...
You need to do something making up for that Walking Dead.
There were those. Yeah, there were some typical plot issues, convenience for convenience sake, especially with Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character.
Deus Ex Machina.
Yep, all over the place. Glass can break, but stainless steel containers can't in space. But yeah, I think overall, it's just a fun, ready-to-go film. Go in there and just turn your brain off for an hour and a half or so, and I think I'm going to give it a damn average as well.
So what did you think of Rampage? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave a comment down below and let us know. I want to thank David Wray for stopping by and talking about Rampage with me.
Always a pleasure.
I want to ask you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell icon, get some notifications. Poke around on our channel and watch some of our other videos. Some of them are a lot of fun. Always have a damn fine day.